He wanted to do something with his life that would make the world better. So yeah, I went home for the first time yesterday, and I saw my notes. We had a meeting with the college counselor, and she was going over options that she thought were available for him. So seeing that today, again, as I went to go grab a cup of coffee, and knowing that like all those college letters are going to be coming, it's too much to bear, honestly. But my son David, the reason I'm asking for acts of kindness, and here, like I've had some parents reach out to me and they said, like these little vignettes, right? He was a kid who, if he saw some kid sitting by himself at lunch, he'd go sit with him. He was a huge band guy. He loved drums. He loved percussion. He was always focused on his little group, and he knew that was a safe place for like the misfit toys, right? So he was going to be a section leader, and it meant so much. Mr. S had his band director had just left to go to another job, and he was heartbroken, but he realized I have to step up, because if he's gone, I got to help the percussion teacher who's just out of college. I have to be that person, and he decided he was going to step up and lead. And so when I say that there's a David-shaped hole in the world right now that other people are going to have to fill up, his friends, his family, me, my job, he was a better person than I am, because I have anger, I have issues. He didn't. He was a person who, of all the people in the entire world, did not deserve this. And that's why I'm asking for people. If you're sitting across from the guy who is the killer, and you think, I could think he did that, like that sounds like the person that he killed did not deserve this. There's so many times where people are like, oh, and what's happening right now, and I'm afraid, like I keep hearing like, oh, I heard you exchange hand gestures. So let's just imagine that for a second. If I exchange hand gestures with you, does that require you to execute the person sitting next to me, my child? Like, is there any world that we live in where an exchange of hand gestures excuses the execution of another human being? And if the answer to that question is no, then I don't care what your relationship is to that person. That person is dangerous to the community and needs to be arrested. And as a matter of fact, because I want to get this straight, the hand gesture I exchanged, which I originally reported to police and was reported from that conversation, was when all these lanes were merging, I'd already let one person from his lane in. I'd let two people from the left in. And I was thinking, there's all these people behind me who are like, come on, let's go. And I was like, I gotta go. So I moved forward, and this guy, he was so close to me, he was like almost chipping the paint on my truck. And I kept moving forward. He screams up, and that's when he leaned out. And all I said is, I've already let 3 people in. That's my hand gesture. So that hand gesture got my son executed. And then that's not fair. And I'm asking for the city of Houston, if you think that your dash cam might have caught an image of that vehicle, if you think that the person that you hang out with sometime, but you're like, man, that guy's crazy, I can't hang out with him. That guy killed my son, and I'm asking for your help in bringing him to justice. And I'm not angry at him. I'm angry at what he did. I don't know who he is. I don't know enough to have, but I know he killed my son. And I'm not looking for blood justice. I'm looking for justice. And I'm asking the city of Houston to come together and to identify this. But if you can't do that, I'm asking for a random act of kindness and service of my son's memory, because everyone's reaching out. What can I do? Thoughts and prayers. Yes, I'm asking for thoughts and prayers. I'm asking for action. As a man of faith, I'm a believer in acts as much as faith. And the act I'm asking you to do is to love your neighbor. And for that, if you do that, then you're honoring my son. And if you share that with me on social media, I'll respond, because I appreciate that. That's the thing that I'm asking for. And I just want to say I thank the city of Houston. I cannot thank enough Detective Brown, Detective Condon, for doing the work on behalf of HPD. It was misreported. The HPD had misreported something. I'm the person who did that. I put that on social media, and I subtweeted the HPD tweet. They did not screw that up. I screwed that up because when I found out they weren't operating on my son because the damage was so extensive from that damn bullet that they put in his head, I said, my son is dead. This is now a homicide. And that's why it was reported. That had nothing to do with HPD. HPD's been nothing but professional. I'm so thankful they're working around the clock and they're turning over every rock.